Electronic cigarettes, e-cigarettes, are in the news again, this time receiving what could be interpreted as an endorsement of sorts by a research team at London's Royal College of Physicians. They've just released a report entitled Nicotine Without Smoke, Tobacco Harm Reduction, where they suggested that vaping, this is the smoking of e-cigarettes, could actually help smokers kick the habit. Earlier I spoke to Donal Buggy, who's the Head of Advocacy and Services at the Irish Cancer Society, who are still wary of vaping products. I also spoke to Gillian from the Irish Vape Vendors Association. I started by asking her exactly what's in an e-cigarette.
Well, there is nicotine, maybe, unless it's a nicotine-free liquid. There is propylene glycol or vegetable glycol. They are the two propellants for the flavours, and that's what gives you the kind of wisp of vapour. And sometimes there's purified water, and then there's some flavouring. The flavours are generally regarded as safe for consumption. They're food-grade flavourings.
OK, Donal Buggy, what's wrong with that?
I think that quite describes the challenge we have when we consider e-cigarettes and the use of e-cigarettes, that we just don't know what products contain, and we also don't know the long-term health implications of e-cigarettes. We would certainly welcome the report today in that it adds to the knowledge that we have of a product we know very little about, but we certainly would be looking for e-cigarettes to be licensed as a pharmaceutical product and held up to the same rigour and standards that other nicotine replacement therapies are. They're certainly better than smoke cigarettes. I think it's important to recognise that, but that certainly shouldn't mean that we shouldn't strive to support people to get rid of their nicotine addiction by standard nicotine replacement therapies, because we do know that although e-cigarettes are less toxic, they aren't without risk, and there is evidence emerging that there are, compared to a non-e-cigarette using population, there are increased risks of lung cancer and also increased risks of popcorn lung associated.
Do you know that for sure, Donal Buggy?
Well, that is the real challenge, that we just don't know. The evidence is emerging that there is an increased risk, but we just don't know. If we spoke about an inhaler, which would be a product where we bring fluids and vapours into our lungs, they are rigorously tested. E-cigarettes aren't.
Gillian, you will welcome this report. Why is it significant for you and for those who promote e-cigarettes and vaping?
Well, I think just to touch on something that Donal said there, it specifically says in the report that medicinal licensing may not be the best way to regulate this product. And it does specifically go through reasons why that is. And one of the first things is that it may make it less attractive to a smoker who should be encouraged to use the product. It's also extremely costly. To date, there are only two products, only one of which is an actual electronic cigarette. The other is a type of inhaler that has got medicinal licensing in the UK, and that's been manufactured by a tobacco company. So in order to keep as many products on the market as possible, we do need regulation. And I think it's a little bit disingenuous to insinuate that the industry does not want any regulation at all.
So you do want regulation. Would you like to see e-cigarettes available on prescription?
Well, I think there are some people in the public health and the health community that would welcome that, because it may give lower income smokers, try one for free and then go off and purchase your own. I know that they're trialling certain programs in the UK with quit smoking centres for that. We would welcome something very similar here, where vendors work alongside quit smoking services, so that, they go in and they get their behavioural support and they get their group support or whatever with a quit centre. But then they come into us for all the technical advice. There's a model and a framework out there in the UK for that. We would love to work with smokers in that way here. However, the report specifically says that in order to keep as many smokers getting onto these products and away from smoking tobacco, there needs to be a range of products on the market.
Just to clarify something for me, Gillian, in terms of your members, do you see e-cigarettes and vaping as a process towards finally quitting smoking and vaping altogether, or would you like them all just to come on board with you and increase your profits?
Well, unfortunately, the word quit has got a little bit of a poison chalice in this country and in other places across the EU as well, because we're specifically precluded from saying that these things help you quit as part of an advertisement. It's mainly the public health community that's pushing that idea on smokers, which is fine. Now, as regards, do we want people to use these things for the rest of their life? That's completely up to the customer.
Donal, we know you want people to quit all forms of smoking, tobacco, nicotine replacement and so on. But isn't there an argument there for including e-cigarettes in that arsenal?
We know that 1 in 5 of our adult population currently smokes, and half of those people will die from their smoking prematurely. And we would welcome anything which would improve those figures. We certainly believe that it's a multifaceted approach. And the challenge, I guess, that we have with e-cigarettes is that we just don't know if they help you quit. We are not dealing with the nicotine addiction when transitioning smokers to e-cigarettes. And what this report really is recommending is that e-cigarettes can be used as a replacement for smoked tobacco where smokers are unable or unwilling to quit using the existing licensed therapies that are in place. So they're not saying that they should be replacing what we already know works. They are saying that almost that they are a last resort for those who have no other option or cannot quit through any other mechanism.